Good afternoon all, how you doing? Are you over your disappointment yet? Has the anger from the weekend disappeared? Are you calm? Are you feeling better now? No? Nah, me either. So as you know, I try not to do videos straight away. I don't tend to do instant match review videos. If you want to see how I felt after the match on Saturday, then head over to We Are Tottenham TV, because I did get a time with Ben and Sim and had a chat with them after the game. So that'll give you a sense for how I was feeling straight after the game. And I've got to be honest, I'm not sure that I feel that different now. I still kind of feel a little bit speechless and a little bit lost with what the answer is. So the thing that kind of typifies it all for me is that Sheffield United put out a video of their goal. 23 passes which led to their equaliser. And to be fair to them, you know, you can see it from a positive, you know. You can see the positive spin on it from their point of view. The fact that they strung all those passes together and created a really good opportunity and scored a goal. But for me, as a Tottenham fan, it just made me really angry, really pissed off, because it's only a season or so ago that a video like that of us was put out where we run rings around the team and scored a really good goal. You know, the video of us with every single player touched the ball and then we scored the goal. So we were lauded for that kind of play. And yet here we are looking at a team like Sheffield United, and all credit to them, I'm not taking any credit away from that team at all. But a team like Sheffield United, and I base that on the fact that they're newly promoted and so on and so forth. They haven't got massive superstars there and not spending millions and millions of pounds on players and all the rest of it, right? That's why I'm using that terminology, right? But there's a team like those guys able to string together 23 passes and score a goal against us, and it was so easy. So easy that it's embarrassing. I just look at it and I think to myself, what's going on? What is going on? So I listen to a fair few podcasts. I watch a lot of videos. Alistair Gold, who I rate really like his videos. He does some really good stuff. He's always talking about Pochettino and the fact that he's renowned for his high intensity training, his high press, his focus, and that he demands from his players. Well, let's put our hand on our heart here now. How many of us are seeing any of that? Because I've got to be honest, I'm seeing no intensity at all. I'm seeing no pressure. I'm seeing no passion. I'm seeing no press. I'm seeing no drive. I'm seeing no leadership at all. Nothing. So that kind of brings me to where I am now, because let's be honest, the team that Pochettino put out on Saturday was pretty much what we've all been asking for a while. No Eriksen, no Rose, no Toby and Jan, just players that want to be in the squad. Exception to that, Aurier, possibly, especially as Foyth came on in midweek and had a good game. So it makes no sense to me why he's not in the team again. Apart from the fact that I understand that Pochettino does like to rotate the fullbacks because of the work rate that they're supposed to be putting in. So Davies I can kind of live with, although that didn't really work out for us. But Davies I can kind of understand because He's signed a new 5-year deal. He's committed to the club, rotating fullbacks and all that malarkey, right? So I can kind of get it and accept that that's probably what he was going to do. Like I say, Aurier, different kettle of fish. I'm still far from convinced about him and about his commitment to the cause and his ability not to just throw a wobbly and create some kind of chaos in his wake. So you're looking at that team and you're like, okay, great, because I spoke to Chris Cowling before the game and he said to me, are you confident? And I went, no, not really, because it depends on what Tottenham turn up. And he said, well, it depends on who's in the team, right? And I went, yeah, you know, it depends. Is he going to put Eriksen in? Because I think that is what's going to hold us back. I just felt that. And I felt that Lo Celso was going to bring something more to the team because he did on Wednesday. So when I saw that Eriksen wasn't in the team, my mood lifted. I was like, okay, maybe he's getting to the point now where he's looking at, you know, transitioning and bringing Lo Celso in to start. Maybe Eriksen would come on later once the job's done, maybe, you know. So why, at the end of the game, are we still left with the same bloody scenario that we've had all season? There's something going on. It's just not right at the moment. So, and it pains me to have to say it because, as I've said many times, I'm a Pochettino fan. I think there are lots of clubs out there that would take Pochettino in a heartbeat, and I think there are a lot of clubs out there that if he went to, he would be a success at. Right? I do get that feeling, which takes us on to another subject about Enoch and so on. But that's kind of another big debate, really. So I am a big Pochettino fan. I do think he's a decent manager and a decent coach. But you've got to start asking yourself, is what he does as a coach and a manager actually working at Tottenham at the moment? Are they actually doing what he's asking them to do? Are they playing the way he wants them to? So, okay, so you've got to think to yourself that they are doing what he wants. You've got to think that, surely, because if they wasn't doing what he wants, if they wasn't following his game plan, if you was a manager, how long would you put up with that for? Because I'm damn bloody sure I wouldn't. If I had a player and I'm saying to this guy, I want intensity from you, I want you getting in their face, I want you putting them off, I want you tracking back, and so on, and that player wasn't doing that, surely I would be having a conversation with him that went along the lines of, hey, what's going on? I've asked you to do that, but doesn't seem to be quite happening. Is there a problem? You know, are you unable to do it? Do you just not want to do it? Do you not believe in what I'm telling you? You know, is there a medical problem? Is there a physical problem? Is there a mental problem? You know, you'd have them conversations, right? Because managing footballers is got to be the same as managing any kind of person. They're all individuals, so they've all got their own wants and needs and quirks, you know. And a good manager gets the best out of all the players or all the people. You know, let's be fair. Chris Wilder, I mean, if you took a lot of his players and offered them around the Premier League, I don't expect there'd be many clubs that would be clambering to take them. Certainly not from the top. But as a manager, clearly he's doing something right. He must be, because he's getting decent performance out of them. They are doing what he's asking them to do. They are pressing, they are showing passion, they are working as a team. So that's kind of where my head's at the moment. You know, is it because Pochettino has lost confidence in players that he's therefore not coaching them or giving them the support or having those conversations that say, what's going on? You know? Or is he saying, We're moving away from the high press. We're not playing with intensity. I don't want that. I want you to sit back. I want you to soak it up. I want you to hit them on the counter. I want you to have it play in front of them and pick out little passes. If that's what he's saying to him, then they are playing to his game plan. So then the question is Pochettino's game plan the right game plan for us? Because it don't seem to be working. Does that make sense? You know, am I making any kind of sense here? Because I do feel a little bit like I'm rambling, I've got to be honest. Because I know what I mean in my mind, right? So I don't want to doubt Pochettino as a coach and as a manager, but it's what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing, like, you know, in previous times you would see Pochettino up, directing things, pulling players over, whispering in their ear. You'd see him at the end of the match, getting hold of them, high-fiving them, shaking their hands, giving them a hug, and all that. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that level of spirit between him and the players. Now, a lot of people have said, and it's been going on a while, that Pochettino's lost the dressing room. Again, I don't really see that. I don't see that he's lost the dressing room, as in they're not playing for him and they're trying to get him out. I don't see that, because I do see a lot of from time to time a lot of effort from certain players and all the rest of it. So I'm not seeing that it's like they're down tools and they're giving him a big, you know. I don't really see it that way, but I'm wondering whether it's something going in the other direction, you know, whether Pochettino's got the ump with some of those players and he's just giving up what he's expecting from them and how he wants them to move forward, you know. Is he kind of having a bit of a crisis of confidence in himself that he can get the best out of them, you know? So it's a really difficult scenario, and as much as it pains me, I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm saying, well, are we seeing the last days of a manager who's served the club well over the last sort of 5 or 6 years? You know, like I've said many times, if you go back, we've had 17 different managers since Birkinshaw to Pochettino. None of them have had any level of success, and we were mid-table mediocrity for a very long time. So he's pulled us out of that and put us all into a position of expectation. You know, we're expecting to do better. We're expecting to challenge, and the fact that we're now not makes it feel even worse than when we were all used to the mid-table mediocrity, you know. So, you know, to a certain extent, he has raised that bar for us. But is it a step too far for him in the current setup that we have? And like I've said again, I know I keep repeating myself, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, which is what makes it so much more difficult to second guess what's driving a lot of this, you know, because maybe there are other factors that are having an effect that we just don't know about, that the club just won't tell us about. And as much as I'm you know, I don't really want it to see it, maybe this Amazon Prime documentary thing will let us see a bit of that. Maybe it will shed some light onto some of the shit that's going on, and you can kind of put your finger on it and go, that's why. Now I understand why they did that. Now I understand why Eriksen's always playing. Now I understand why Ndombele keeps getting taken off. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, maybe I'm clutching at straws. Maybe I'm just making it up and hoping for something that's not going to be there. I am the eternal optimist after all. And I'm conscious that this is going to be quite a long video, so I apologise for that. Maybe watch it in 2 parts. Go for a wee halfway through, grab a cup of tea or something, because I just wanted to touch on the game itself, because I don't think you can not talk about VAR. Now, I've got to be honest, I'm not a fan of it. I never have been. I much prefer the referee to make a decision. So if and I can live with it, right? So the referee says that's a penalty, fine, it's a penalty. I might disagree with it, and we can review it as much as we like afterwards and go, oh yeah, but if he'd have seen it from that angle, and if he'd have had this, and the lino should have been there, and his possession's wrong, and all the rest of it. But ultimately, once he's made that decision, you look at it and you go, okay, he's made the decision. It might have been a wrong decision, but he's a single man on his own, seeing it in real time. So as a human, I can understand how he makes that mistake. You then throw into the mix VAR, which, okay, it's not automated, it still relies on people to make a decision. The referee's made a decision. I'm looking at that, I think that's a penalty. What's VAR saying? Okay. So then you've got a couple of people sat in a room looking at it, angle after angle after angle, drawing lines on it and all the rest of it. Now, if it takes 3 minutes 40 seconds to make a decision on whether it should or it shouldn't have been on or offside, to me, that's not clear. It's not a clear and obvious error. So, when Sheffield United scored their goal, their first goal that was disallowed, the referee, the linesman, they gave it as a goal. They saw it as a goal. All of us in the stands, or in the seats, looking at it, gave it as a goal. There was nobody in that ground that thought that that wasn't a goal. So for them to spend all that time to go through it, to come to the conclusion that it wasn't a goal, is ludicrous. It's took them all that time to look at all those angles to come up with the faintest excuse for it not to be a goal. Now, we're on the benefit side of that, right? So, yeah, great, I'm going to celebrate it, it's not a goal. But it's just farcical. And to be honest with you, Sheffield United were absolutely robbed. They were robbed of that game. You know, and we've been on the benefit side of it, we've been on the wrong side of it, I get that. But for me, it's just a nonsense. They're trying to make it far too clinical, and it's not worth it. It's not worth what it's doing to the game, because it's killing the game, it's killing the passion. You know, you've got all the Sheffield United supporters going mad, you've got the goal scorer, you know, up here, and then the next minute he's down here, the home supporters are killed, the home supporters, the away supporters are down in the dumps, the home supporters are up in the air, overjoyed. But what a nonsense to get to. You know, it's just farcical, and I just cannot and will not look at it as a good thing for football. Because ultimately it's all just based on money. It's all just based on money. Getting this far up the league is worth this. You know, not getting relegated is that. I get it. But that's what happens. That's football. If you're down at the bottom three, it's because of your performance. It's not because of VAR. You know, VAR is not going to save you, or shouldn't be relied on to save you, even if it could save you. So I just think it's an absolute nonsense. And as far as I'm concerned, the sooner it's scrapped, the better. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a football fan. I just pay me £1,200 a year to sit and watch this clinical football that's not taking us anywhere. So, you know, it is what it is. But just finishing off on the Pochettino thing, I think, you know, it's going to come to a head at some point. And I don't believe this point of Levy won't sack him because of money. I don't think that's the case. I think ultimately not getting into the Champions League is more financially beneficial than it is paying a manager to leave. That's not to say that I want him to leave. What I want is I want to see him turn it around. I want to see him gaining some ground or whatever. I think ultimately the season is where the season is. Yeah, we're not having a great time. There will still be time to pull it back. It's not over until it's over. You know, there's still plenty of points to play for, and we can get ourselves out that league. And to be honest with you, I'm fairly confident that we will. Top four, if you ask me about top four now, at this moment in time, I'm just going, yeah, no, it's going to be really, really difficult. But it's not out of the realms of possibility. So you can't say it's not going to happen until it's not going to happen, right? So, you know, I'll keep believing, I'll keep supporting the team, I'll keep supporting the manager, and trust that he can pull it around. But that's not to say that I'm not worried about the signs that I'm seeing at the moment in terms of his body language and his relationships with the team. You know, I'd like to see some passion back in the game, some passion back in the team, some direction, because there is something truly, truly lacking at the moment, and I think most of us are lost to understand where that is. Maybe you know better. Maybe you can put your finger on it. Let me know. I like your comments. I do read them all, and I do try to respond where I can. So let me know what you think. And as always, up the Spurs.